Welcome to the Music Workspace. I'm Pedro Murino Almeida, and I will be showing you how you can quickly and effectively harmonize a melody. Have you ever felt overwhelmed by the possibilities of chord choices? Or, on the other hand, you feel like you are stuck to the same old chord options? Stay tuned and see how these tips can help you out. In harmony, it is more important to know where you are going rather than where you are coming from. That said, you just have to keep these things in mind. What is the chord you want to end on, for closing the previous idea or the chord that starts the next one? In your head, how often you hear the chords changing? One chord, two chords per bar, or one for each beat? Whatever you have in mind. Be aware of the different chord types and how they sound. If it is a major chord, you are hearing a minor chord or quartal or in seconds, diminished, altered. This way you can move quicker through the process of harmonizing a melody and, in the end of the day, have more satisfying results. Just a couple of reminders though. First, these are just tips to get you to harmonize a melody as quickly as possible and hopefully with great results. And second, we won't be necessarily looking at the particularities of functional harmony and how the chords interact. That is for another video. Normally, you would go about harmonizing a melody by finding chords whose tones are within the melody. For instance, now, let's look at the same example, and this time we will be doing things differently. I use this technique to help me sort out my chord progressions and make them richer. We will be taking the same concept of chord choice, but this time we will be using a secondary melody. Normally, you would expect that this secondary melody would be for the bass, a practice known as Basso Continuo. But in this case, when I compose this secondary melody, I'm trying to hear a possible melody that the inner voices of the future chords could contain. And thus I am not restricted to doing typical voice leading or bass lines, just melodic lines that will be included in the chord tones. That said, here is how we could go about it. This was an harmonization made within the same tonality, and in the end of the day, you may even end up having a nice counter melody material that you can use for your arrangement. Now let's do another example, and this time using passing chords or temporarily modulate to a different key and then back again. This is all about preparation of where you want the modulations to occur. Oh, and let me remind you that it is very important that you hear the kind of chords that you feel that should come next, so you can go quicker through the harmonization process and with better results. So, in bars 3 and 4, we won't be worrying too much about to which key we will modulate, and instead we will focus on the relationship between the melody and the newly created counter melody and choose the chords based on the notes we have to play with. Freestyle. And then on the 6th bar we will be doing a brief passage through the key of A flat major, because why not? You can also have this approach with chromatic harmonization. Or as a base for polychords from the same or different keys. This is kind of a free process, and we know that sometimes too much freedom may be harmful if you are an undecided kind of person. So adding these extra melodic lines are a way to restrict your options a bit and provide better guidance throughout the harmonization process. As you saw, you will not be at loss for options at all, and the only limit is your imagination. Feel free to experiment with it, and I hope that you can use it as another tool in your composing techniques arsenal. This is all for now, and if you haven't already, please subscribe and get music composition tips and techniques weekly in your email box. I'll see you next week.